Right, here are your notes for section 12.2, surface area of prisms and cylinders. Don't forget to fill in your date up here for today's date. Start with some definitions here, and I'm going to give you some formulas. These formulas are going to be what you're going to refer to when you're working on all these problems. So, the lateral area of a prism is the sum of the areas of the lateral faces of that solid. Alright, so I'm going to give you a formula over here. So lateral area, so L, equals P times H. P is the perimeter of the base of the prism, and H is the height of the prism. Okay, so big P is the perimeter and H stands for the height. And again, the height is between the two bases. Okay, it's important to remember. So it's between the two bases. Alright, and then the surface area of all surfaces of a solid, or the surface area of a prism is the surface area of all the surfaces of a solid. So we're going to have the two bases and the lateral faces. Okay, so that's going to be all of the areas, so top and bottom and all the different sides. Formula for that is surface area, so surface area equals the perimeter times the height plus 2 times the big B. Big B here is the area of the base. Okay, so when you're finding the area of the base, that's going to be really dependent on what the shape of that base is. So that blue formula sheet that you have, you want to make sure that that's handy when you're working here with area. All right, so move down to some examples here. Find the lateral area and the surface area of each figure. So we're going to use our formulas. It's going to be really important to make sure you know those formulas. So first, this is a prism. Okay, and it's a rectangular prism. I'm going to put an H next to this 5. That's my height. And I'm going to color in the shapes of my bases. So the base is a rectangle with the length of 8 centimeters and the height of 3 centimeters. So the big B for this one, the area of the base is length times width. So the big B equals 8 times 3. So for this one, big B equals 8, oops, you already know that, 24 centimeters squared. So that is the area of my base. The other thing I need when I'm working with my base is my perimeter. So my surface area formula. So lateral area is my perimeter times my height. Surface area is perimeter times height plus 2 times the area of the B. So I have my B value here. That's going to help me when I'm working here with my formulas. Now I'm going to find my P. So my perimeter is all the way around that rectangular base, so 8 plus 3 plus 8 plus 3. So my perimeter equals, what is that, 11 plus 11? So 21 centimeters. Now I'm going to go ahead and use those two formulas. So lateral area equals my perimeter, 21 centimeters, times my height, which is 5 centimeters. So my lateral area equals 110 centimeters squared. Area is always squared. Now I'm going to do my surface area. So surface area equals that P times H, which we just found, so that's 110 centimeters squared. Let me write the formula for you first, actually. So perimeter times height plus 2 times the area of the base. So I'm going to plug in what I know. So I know that that perimeter times height is 110 plus 2 times the area of that base. The area of the base was 24, so 2 times 24. So surface area equals 110 plus 48. So surface area equals 158, and the units on this one are centimeters squared. So again, we're going to use those formulas then to help us figure out figure out those two areas. Okay. Moving down here to this triangular prism. Let's label this. I'll use blue so you know which color. Triangular prism. So again, my lateral area is found with my perimeter times my height. Surface area is equal to my perimeter times height plus 2 times the area of my base. So down below here, oops, sorry about that. Down below here I will find the perimeter of my base. So again, my base is this triangle shape. So looks like I need to do a little bit of math to figure out the perimeter. So the first thing I'm going to do is my Pythagorean theorem, because I see I have a right triangle here. So let me erase this right here. Do the Pythagorean theorem to find that length of that third side of my triangle. So 4 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared. So 4 squared is 16 plus 9. 16 plus 9 is 25 equals c squared. So 5 is equal to c. So I'm going to write that in right here. Now I can find my perimeter of my triangle, which is 4 plus 3 plus 5. So 7 plus 5 is 12. So I know my perimeter equals 12 here. We're going to use that. This right here is my height. Again, it's that distance between the two bases. And then the area of my base, which is a triangle, the formula is 1/2 base times height. Looking at my triangle, so 1/2 the base would be 4, the height would be 3, so 1/2 3 times 4, so half of 12, so my area of my base is 6. Going back up to my formulas then, I'm going to use what I've got. So the lateral area equals my perimeter, which is 12, times my height, which is 13. So the lateral area for this one is 12 times 13, which is 156. And that's, make that a 6. And that's inches, and we're talking area, so that's squared. Surface area then, I'm going to plug in what I know. So I just found that perimeter times the height, so that's 156, plus 2 times the area of my base, which I found was 6. So 156 plus 12, so my surface area equals 156 plus 12 is 168, and that's inches squared again. And so lots of work for each one of these problems, but I think you guys can follow along. Sorry it's a little messy. Alright, moving on to the next one. I see that it's a cube or a prism. Change my color again so we have a different color while we're working here. Let's do purple for this one. So this is again a prism. So I need to find my base. So my base shape in this one is my squares. I'm going to go with this 8 for my height. So the area of the base is going to be length times width. So area equals 8 times 8. So in this particular case, the area of the base is 64 centimeters squared. I'm also going to find the perimeter. Looks like I've got a square, so I'm going to do 4 times that 8, which is equal to 32. Using my two areas then, lateral area is my perimeter times my height. So again, my perimeter, which I just found, is 32 times my height, which is 8. So the lateral area is 32 times 8, which is equal to 256. And then this is area, so my units are squared. Centimeters squared. Surface area then for this one, again, that formula, which I'm going to write down 100 times for you today. Surface area formula is perimeter times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. So surface area for this one, again, I just found that perimeter times height to do 256 plus 2 times the area of the base, which we found was 64. So surface area is equal to 256 plus 128. So surface area equals, adding those up, I get 384, and we're talking area, so again that's units squared, so centimeters squared. As I'm working here, guys, make sure you pause your video if you need to. That'll help you keep up. Yep. Moving on to this next slide here. It looks like I've got another prism here. This is another triangular prism. Oops. Let's get a different color here again first. I'll use green. So here's my prism. Looking at my prism, I'm looking for those two parallel bases. So I've got a triangle here, those are my bases. Looks like I've got enough information to find my area of my base. Area of the base is 1/2 that base times the height, which is 5. So the area of the base is 6 times 5, which is 30. Looks like I need to do a little bit more work to find this third side of that triangle here. So 5 squared plus 12 squared equals, I'll call it x squared. So 25 plus 144 equals x squared. 169 equals x squared. Square rooting both sides, I get x is equal to 13. Again, that's going to help me to figure out the, oops, I don't want to highlight that, that third side of that triangle. So I'm going to label that as 13. Now I can find the perimeter. Perimeter is 5 plus 12 plus 13. So perimeter is 17 plus 13, which is 30. Now that I've got those two things, I can find my lateral area. Again, that formula is the perimeter times the height. Just found that perimeter right there, so that's going to be 30 times the height, so that's that distance between my two, I'll go ahead and highlight that for you. Distance between my two bases, again those are the triangular bases, so times 6. Lateral area is 180, and we're talking feet squared here. Again, area is in squared units. Surface area formula is the perimeter times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. Again, we found all of this information already, so we're just plugging in our numbers. So surface area equals that perimeter times the height, which is that 180, plus 2 times the area of the base, which we found was 30. So surface area equals 180 plus 60. So surface area equals 240, and we're talking feet squared. Again, make sure you have those formulas down. That formula sheet's pretty handy right now. It's going to help you find the areas of the bases of your cylinders. Or your prisms, sorry. Now I've got some formulas for you for lateral area of a cylinder. And again, a cylinder is just like that cube, or that can. So lateral area of a cylinder is just that outside piece. So the lateral area equals 2 times pi times radius times that height. And the surface area of the cylinder, again, includes the areas of all the sides plus the bases. So we're going to see that 2 times pi times r times h. We're going to add that to the area of the base, and for a cylinder that's a circle. So the area of a circle is 2 pi r squared. So again, all these formulas are just going to be handy to have out. That blue sheet is really good for you to use right now. So now we're going to find the lateral area and surface area of the cylinders. So again, the two things I need to see what my height is. I need to know my radius for sure. Then I'm going to use those formulas and plug stuff in. So I see here that I'm given this diameter is 8. So using that information, I know my radius is 4. So I'm going to go ahead and label that over here. And the height is again between those two bases, so that's my height. Now it looks like I have everything I know. And remember, we can use the exact and the approximate because I've got pi in here. So lateral area is going to be 2 times pi times that radius I just found times the height which we see there. So lateral area equals, I'm going to multiply all those numbers together, so 2 times 4 times 11. That's going to be 88 pi. And again, this is my exact answer. Using pi as a decimal, my approximate answer is going to be 88 times 3.14, which is approximately 276.46 feet. And again, we're talking feet squared. I should put that labels here. Alright, so for surface area, again, we're going to use that formula, so 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. So surface area here, we just find that 2 pi r, so surface area is equal to that. We're going to use the exact first, so 88 pi plus 2 times pi times 4 squared. Simplifying my math here, 88 pi plus 4 squared is 16. 16 times 2 is 32. Adding those up, 88 plus 32 is that 120 pi. Oops, not 110, 120 pi, and we're talking about feet squared again. That's my exact answer. And then using that calculator to do multiply that 120 times pi, you get, I should make that equal, that's approximately 376.99 feet squared. Again, that's approximate answer for that one there. Alright, in our last example, again, we have another cylinder. This was a cylinder too. I guess I should label those both. I'll use a different color down here. Looks like I'm given my radius, and I'm going to say that this 6 is my height. Using my two formulas here then, I'm going to say that the lateral area equals 2 times pi times the radius times the height. And surface area is again that 2 times pi times the radius times the height, but we're going to add in that 2 pi r squared for that area, that base. Plugging in what we know then, so I know lateral area equals 2 times pi times 5 for my radius, 6 for my height. Multiplying those numbers for my exact answer, 2 times 5 is 10 times 6 is 60 pi. And then my approximate answer, going ahead and multiplying that out, times 3.14, that's 180.50 centimeters squared for my units. Again, we're talking area, so it's always centimeters squared. Surface area then, again, we just found that 2 pi r h, so that's going to be that 60 pi plus 2 times pi times my radius, which is 5 squared. So surface area equals 60 pi plus 5 squared is 25 times 2 is 50, so 50 pi. Surface area, my exact answer is 110 pi. And then we're talking centimeters squared. And then my exact answer for my surface area, or my approximate answer, multiplying that out, I get 345.58 centimeters squared. Alright, so again, it's all about using our formulas right now, practicing plugging in our values. That blue sheet's going to come in handy for you as you're working, and your assignment is listed straight down here.